Welcome to the Sheffield Sunday As Bill Sees It meeting. This is a main share meeting, and today it is with great pleasure and much gratitude that we welcome Lavelle J from Chicago, who's come to share for about 40 minutes, after which we'll open up for general sharing or if you'd like to ask a question. Thank you, Lavelle. It's wonderful to have you here, and the floor is yours.
You haven't heard me start talking yet, Andrew, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys might be in this wonderful universe. My name is Lavelle Deshaun Johnson. I'm an alcoholic. And I say my full name in the meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous because Dr. Bob says don't be so anonymous that an alcoholic can't find you. My anonymity is only at the level of press, radio, and film. Even with the recording, we're recording for Alcoholics Anonymous. And sometimes people, okay, Lavelle, shut up. All right, I hear my sponsor talking to me. He's telling me to shut up and stop, get off my soapbox and talking about understanding the traditions and our concepts. I just think that is so important because then it gives me a better relationship, a better understanding. And my life today is about my relationships with sisters and brothers like you. My relationship, my connection with God and the universe is only because of my right connection with sisters and brothers like you. I used to get confused and I used to think it was the other way around. Now, for somebody else, it might be that way. And I'm not here to, if something's different for you, that's wonderful and fine. And I'm not here to go against that. I sponsor a lot of men and women who believe in a lot of different, faiths, organizations, spiritual deities, and all other things. I just like to say, I believe. Today I'm a believer. You sisters and brothers have convinced me that the way I had been living life was unsuccessful. And even sometimes today. Val gets on my nerves. Val say, can you smile any bigger, right? And then she's got her hair looking all nice, her eyebrows done. Yeah, Val, so what? And that's what I love about, now that the plug has been put in the jug, and I'm not just in the fellowship. I'm not just around AA. I'm not just around these 12-step programs. I'm in it, and being in it means that I'm developing relationships with you guys. And the more and more I develop relationships, the better my life gets. Because when, situations come up, when things happen and arise, I'm able to, by God's grace, by God's love, by God's unwavering, man, if you guys only knew, 40 minutes is not enough time for me to tell you. And even if I had 40 years, I don't think I can really articulate, what God has done in my life. All right. Okay. David's talking to me again. And, David is my sponsor. I don't walk around in Alcoholics Anonymous unattended, because I used to. And when I was unattended, I'm like a little kid. I'm like a dog, a cat. I'm like something that's doing whatever it wants to and not having any discipline. And when you come in the house, everything's knocked down, torn up, right? You're like, Lavelle, what did you do? And that's what God is always saying. Dude, what did you do? I didn't give you what I've given you to be like James Brown. I don't know if you guys, James Brown has been passed for a while, but he used to sing a song and he used to say, I just want to get up and do my thing. Right? Right. And that's always what I wanted to do, get up and do my thing. And when I was trying to run life to fit myself, doing my thing always got me into, page 52 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It got me in, I was having problems with personal relationships, in which it's amazing how it starts off first talking about that. The bedevilments, problems with personal relationships. I was a prey to misery and depression. And even today when I don't, usually when I talk, sometimes I'm all over the place. A lot of times I'm not scripted in what I'm saying or what's going on because, my life is always up and down. Things are always happening. And but I'm not going to tell you how bad my day was yesterday. I'm not going to, but I really want to tell y'all how bad my day was yesterday, right? Right. These last couple of days, I really want to tell y'all really quick how things were. And Mary read so eloquently and she was so soft. And then I come on here all loud and all over the place, right? Y'all like, wait a minute, slow down, right? But it's what you guys have infused me with. And I get excited. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that nothing great can be accomplished without enthusiasm. And Bill talks about in Bill's story, he said, my wife and I abandoned ourselves with enthusiasm, right? So I get excited. I do this thing enthusiastically, and it's not, it's just what happens. It's just who I am. And I love it. Bill says in page 132 that, if the newcomer could see no fun enjoying our existence, they wouldn't want it. And I know that for me, when I first got to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, my first sponsor, he said something. I don't remember anything else he said at that particular meeting. What I remembered, he said, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. And he said it in such a way, it was like it pierced my inner being. It was like he was talking specifically to me. And the man didn't even know who I was, right? Right. But it was like he was talking right to me. And I've remembered that. We beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start, not the middle, not the end, not halfway down the road, right? Absolutely now. And that came to mind because I've got this new guy that I'm working with, and he's I think he's 4 days sober today, and he called me this morning because he knew the meeting was starting. He said, you should be up. So I was calling you to tell you my random thought, right? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of meditation, and I'm not that guy that, if you call me in the middle of my meditation that I'm disturbed and I'm all, no, I saw the phone ring. I have a responsibility. And the way I take that responsibility a lot of times, no matter what I'm going through, if I see somebody that's asked me for help, I answer the phone. I don't have a connection without that. I know, all right. So here we go. A new life. I first read in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 151. And it says, have you a sufficient substitute? And it says, yes, it is vastly more than that. Like, it's not just a sufficient substitute. Because when I got here, I was so twisted and messed up, and you guys were taking away everything that helped me to survive in life. You guys were taking away my crutch. You're taking away my security blanket. You were taking away my love, my emotion. You were taking away everything that seemed to surround me in such a way that it was love. See, I know today the difference between loving, kind, and understanding, right? And not that I didn't know it then. I know it and I felt it. It was just because of the things that were going on with inside of me, and the sting that had got in the middle of me and spirit and taking me away from this very essence of love, kindness, and understanding. I was confused by it. And when I felt it, if you told me you loved me, if you showed me kindness, if you showed me forgiveness, you would get an extra heaping helping of hurt. Right? I put it on you the most, right? That's, and Bill says it in page 19 of the Big Book. It says that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. A much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our respective home occupations and affairs. And it talks where I do most of the damage. I give it to the people who are closest to me. Dan, I know you got an extra heaping helping of it, right? Because I remember, like I'm a double winner. I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm also a member of Al-Anon, right? And I became a member of Al-Anon as a result of marrying. After I got into Alcoholics Anonymous, I got married to a young lady that was in AA, and she started to do the same things that I was doing to the first wife, and all the inconsistencies, all the not showing up at home, all the not being able to stay sober, stealing money out of the house, all these things that were going on and coming out. And I'm going to my sponsor and say, what do I do? And it was like, God could and would, right? And it was like Shalonda or Shamice could and would if she was salt, right? These were the things, right? And I was like, it was always these problems and things in my life that I was not able to, that's what it was like for me all the time. How do I catch on? How do I get, like, it seemed like I could never catch my breath. Seemed like I could never find this connection. And every time I had seemingly a hold on life, every time things seemed to be going okay, every time I would take 2 steps forward, it would seem like I get knocked 6 back. And I couldn't understand. I didn't understand. And I'm like, well, if this is the way God operates, why are you doing me like this? And Bill says if there was a devil, he was a false universe, and he certainly had me. I knew and had this understanding of God because I grew up around these religious leaders. I grew up, attending church. I grew up understanding these and hearing the stories. But it was something about the way that God worked in your life that he didn't work in mine, Carol. It was just something about that, and he just did everything for Janie. And I didn't understand why he would do everything for Janie and not me. And then he would have Jesse look handsome and have all the women and have the good job. And I didn't understand why Jesse was getting all the accolades. And then he would make Sharon be so happy and loving and kind and all. And I'm not understanding why everybody is getting the gifts and not me. And then my head wouldn't stop. And then I found something. Bill says that liquor had become an exhilarating part of my life. That was the solution for a long time. And it was the solution for me at a very early age. It was the thing that helped to, I hear speakers always say, man, when I drank, I used to, I would get handsome and I could dance and well, listen, that's not my story. When look, I was ugly then, I'm ugly now. I couldn't dance then, I can't dance now, right? Like liquor didn't change that for me. Liquor didn't make me be able to, I was a bumbling fool when it came to talking to women then, and I'm a bumbling fool when it comes to talking to women now, right? I'm just, what you guys see, when I'm talking about Alcoholics Anonymous and when I'm doing this, I'm excited about it. I do it. I had no other options. I had no other choice. But get me alone in a room. Get me around. I'm listening. I'm watching. I'm reserved. I'm not talking. Shut up, Val. I'm not talking as much, right? Because Val's like, I can't believe that, right? Right. But it's I'm shy. I'm still this shy kid. I'm 54 years old and I'm still this little nervous, shy kid most of the time. But because of Alcoholics Anonymous, you guys have done something too with and for me that has brought me out of this very shell that I used to be hidden by and locked up in. And I was listening right before I got on the meeting, and one of the young ladies that I had the pleasure of being a part of her life, I kind of heard her at everybody else was talking, and I kind of heard Mary when she was talking about her son, and you guys are all talking about the military and where people served. And I was always like, when I have to do something, when I have to show up, I excel. I overshoot the mark. I exceed. I have to be the best. I have to be the greatest. I have to be I have to be. Now, where did that come from? I don't know. I think God created and built me in a way that I'm supposed to want to be better. Not better than you, better than the version of me that I used to be. And that's what I'm coming to understand and to grips with, right? Because, see, I was always trying to be the best and better than everybody else. And it just seemed like I was always, and then I would get there and exceed these, and I would be on top, and then I'd be up there all by myself. And I'm not a worker among workers. I'm not, I'm not full of a family union. I'm not part of, I'm always on the outside, and always being on the outside, I always had these feelings and emotions that always told me, "Look, they're all gonna laugh at you," right? Right? That's like, that was just always like, they're all gonna laugh at you. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie Carrie, right? And she was like, she was afraid, she never fit in, and it was like, they're all gonna laugh at you. And that's like, my life was lived like that. I was always wondering what you think about that I'm thinking about what you think, right? I was always trying to, like, I was always trapped in that idea of who you want me to be. I had this wonderful experience growing up, and I was always excelling at things in my life, and from school, military, and everything else, jobs, everything else that I've been a part of, I was always jumping in and excelling at things. And but again, it was always, I was on the outside, and anytime I was on the outside, I needed to find something to make me feel okay. I needed something to help me to feel okay with life. And that's what alcohol did. It just made me feel okay. It didn't make me extra nothing. It didn't make me lower nothing. It just eased that gnawing, agonizing pain that I had on the inside. And I would love to tell you why I had that pain. I would love to give you this wonderful, psychological explanation of how, I would love to be able to explain that, but the reality is I couldn't, I can't, I don't, even today. Okay, David, I hear you. David told me to tell you guys I have a sobriety date, because he says sometimes I don't act like it, right? Because I forgot to tell you guys that I do have a sobriety date. And don't be looking at me like that, Mary, down there, George. I have a sobriety date. My sobriety date is November 12th, 2001. And I like to say all the time that I only have that date because the universe has always been conspiring on my behalf without my permission to save my life. Because I didn't give it permission. I didn't come in surrendered with both hands up. I didn't come in saying this is what I want. I didn't get that opportunity. I hear a lot of people, like, I envy a lot of times, and not envy in a bad way. I look upon people who got sober early ages and came into, and they started to tell, well, yeah, my husband and I, or my wife and I didn't see the kids, and things just went to, and I just knew I needed help. And so I made my first meeting, and I'm like, wow, thank you. Right. Right. Cause I didn't do that. Like I was like that Clint Eastwood movie at the Outlaw Josie Whale. I wasn't they had to come and get me, right? Like I wasn't coming in under no circumstances. And that's what happened. The way I came in was, on that, Bill talks about that bleak November. And, during that November of 2001, a lot of stuff had happened the year of 2001. The early part of 2001, I had gotten this thing in my head. I love where the big book says that the problem centers in the mind rather than in the body, right? It starts up here first. See, I'd like to tell you that I'm an alcoholic. What makes me alcoholic is because I can't stop drinking. I can't start drinking without not being able to stop, right? Something happens with me in my body that has this insatiable desire that I need to keep going. That's what makes me an alcoholic. But the thing that makes me decide to drink is the sober person. The person who can't deal with reality. The person who can't handle his emotions, right? Just like, and there's normal people who have the same things that they're going on in their life that happens to them, and they handle them differently. And it's something about, I needed to find a way to escape. I needed to find a way to continuously have this thing in my life. And January 13th of 2001, the end of December, I had made this resolution, and the big book talks about many a resolution, but never a decision. But I had resolved. I came up. It's the end of December. We're all going to make these resolutions for the end of the year, and this was my resolution. The end of December, I was going to stop putting all those chemicals in my body. I was going to give myself a release. I was going to take it, and I was like Bill. For that first 2 weeks, the end of December to early January, that the goose hung high, right? I was sober, but I had no understanding or idea of this fellowship or these 12 steps or this weight, this new life. I had no idea about this. So it was sheer willpower. I'm educated. I'm a smart dummy. I had some understandings of the inner workings of my mind, right? That was my first trouble, right? and so, I had stopped these things on my own and the January 13th, the day before my godbrother had asked me, he said, "Hey, I need you to," he said, he knew the stuff that was taking over my system and my body. And he was one of those that was always trying. He said, "Man, life is hard enough. Why do you add that to it?" Now, he's not an alcoholic. He's not a member of any fellowship. He was like, "Man, life is hard enough. Val, why would you add that to it?" And I didn't have an answer. And that's why I quit that time. So he knew I was taking this time out to stop. And he called me that day before. He said, "Man, you feeling better? You okay?" He had been communicating with me every day. I said, "Yeah, I'm better, man. I'm stronger." I don't know about you guys, but, growing up, my mother had me in karate and I've wrestled. I played football. I did all these things, martial arts. And so I'm in the house. I'm done. I'm doing all the push-ups. I'm doing all the calisthenics. I'm doing all the, so, and being in the military, I know how to get my body in shape in order. So now I'm good. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he said, "Okay, well, I need you to take a trip with me." And I'm like, "Okay, where are we going?" We're going to drive down to Memphis, Tennessee and see my oldest son. He said, "Lil Sean Jr." Okay, cool. And he wanted me to drive. I've always been the guy, even when drinking. I've never had a DUI. I've always been the guy when we're out, everybody's drinking. Give Lavelle the keys because Lavelle's going to get us there. It was something about the way that I was able to operate. And this is what always had me confused about me being an alcoholic. I can't be an alcoholic. I've never had DUI. I wasn't a blackout. I wasn't angry. I wasn't like all these things that I hear a lot of times. That's why I know that there's a difference. Right? We all get here differently. We all have our experience and we all have those things that happen to us. But the thing that we all have in common is that disconnect from the source. Yeah. The inability to connect to God when needed. And so we get in the car. We're leaving Chicago, headed down to Memphis, Tennessee. And because I don't know about this disease, because I don't have this understanding, the first thing I do is go get a fifth of Hennessy. Right? I'm a smart dummy. I keep telling you guys, I'm educated. So I go get a fifth of Hennessy and I pour me a drink and I know not to drink the whole bottle. I just need to have the fifth just in case I need some more. Plus, I need to always have my security blanket with me. And so we're on our way down to Memphis. I'd taken that drink and I'm driving. About 5.5 hours into the trip, it's wintertime. And here in the Midwest, it's winter and we get sheets of black ice on the road. And as I'm driving, I fall asleep about 5.5 hours into the trip. We're in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And when I wake up, I panic. I'm this close up on the back of a camper. I slam on brakes. We hit a patch of black ice. The officer that saw the accident said we flipped over about 9 times. I broke my pelvis, fractured my ribs, punctured my lungs, broke my nose, and knocked all my teeth out. And all I can remember is hanging upside down in this vehicle, and my godbrother kicked the back window out. Now, he was laid across the back seat, had minor scratches. Now, had I not been wearing the seatbelt, they said I probably would have killed myself. They had to get the jaws of life to get me out of the vehicle. Now, but I'm hanging upside down in this vehicle and life is flashing before me. And that still wasn't enough. After getting released and my brother, oh, wow. Man, the people in my life, that's why I know it's about people. That's why I know it's about connections. That's why I know it's about relationships. The people in my life have always, I don't have that story where nobody helped me, nobody was there, everybody made me feel unloved and uncared. Man, somebody was always there for me. And not used to be, right now today. Somebody's always there for me. And he not only, now we're in he had a brand new Land Rover, back then, $70,000 car. I just flipped his brand new Land Rover over and totaled it. He rented another vehicle to come to the hospital to be able to bring me back to Chicago because I couldn't walk. Universe conspiring on my behalf without my permission to save my life. God is always sending angels. God is always sending help. God is always like, why? I keep proving that I'm not grateful. I keep proving that I don't appreciate. I keep proving to the universe that I don't want help. Through my unhealthy actions. But it's something about God. Even when I'm messing up, even when I'm causing chaos and confusion, it's something about being a parent. You guys know, when being a parent in any sense of the form, whether you have dogs, cats, birds, rats, whatever you have, you take care of, right? It's something about having this life form that you're responsible to and for, right? That even when, I have a cat, right? And he scratches me up. My children are adults, right? So they get on my nerves, right? They all them, not my grandbabies, right? Ooh. Like these grandkids I have, they think I'm the bee's knee. They think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And y'all better not tell them. Shh. Don't tell them that, right? Don't tell them how bad their granddad is, right? And I got these, I got this granddaughter. I just took, I'm sorry for getting off. My oldest granddaughter, I just took down to North Carolina where my sponsee lived, and Mary has been so like, I got a chance to take my granddaughter to school. Right? Huh? Like now, something as simple as that, because I prove to the universe I don't want to be able to do these things, that I don't want to show up, that I want to continuously be irresponsible. But something about a parent, even when you're being chaotic in life, even when you're making bad decisions, the parent always says, well, I know my child could be better. I know my child will do better. I know my child is just not understanding. And that's what I believe God is always saying in my life. Son, I got you. I'm going to be patient with you. I know you're coming along. I know you. And today I've got this different thing in my life where I don't believe that I invite God in. I just need to acknowledge God's presence. Because sometimes I forget to acknowledge God's presence in everything, even in the bad things. Even when the hand of God seems heavy or unjust, even when last couple of days, I drive a semi truck. I haul cars across country, and I'm in the process of trying to get together to head out to California, and I needed to come home for a couple of days because once I get on the road and leave, I'm usually gone for a couple of months. Plus, I try not to be in the cold weather, right? And I'm here, and I get here and I park my truck, I cut my truck off, and the next morning I come out to try and start it. It won't start. Now I'm not even at home. I'm hours away in Rockford, Illinois, and I come out to try and start my truck, and the truck won't start. Company comes out, and something that would normally, if I was around the people that I'm always dealing with, the mechanic that I have, would probably cost me $700-800. It ended up costing me $2,200. to get a brand new starter in, and hours of my time, right? And then I got people calling me about their cars, and inwardly, I want to get frustrated and upset. Stop calling me. Stop calling me. See, I don't know that Karen wants to get her car picked up now because she got a flight to catch and she needs her car picked up so it gets transported. And see, this is how I have to be able to get into a position where the 11th step, the prayer of St. Francis said, understanding and being understood. Because when you keep disturbing me, and you need to know that I'm having problems, Karen. You need to relax and understand that my life, right? See, I don't know that she has her own life too, right? But I want you to stop bothering me, John. If you stop calling me, like you calling me 15 times is not gonna, but I have to relax, take a deep breath before I pick up the phone, right? I have to be okay with, and that's the importance of staying centered. That's the importance of having this connection with this universe. That's the importance of, because I need to understand you have your own feelings and emotions and thoughts and things that you need to do just as well as things are going on with me. And then right after that, I get the starter put in and I'm on my way to start picking up these cars. And I got 4 tires that blow out. Yeah, everybody, woo, it's nice to have a big old 18-wheeler, but when them tires start going, they cost, right? Like, give me 4 wheels now. The wheels away, right? And here, but in everything, I still have to stay calm and centered. I still need to stay connected. Because when I get twisted, when I get upset, when I get frustrated, when I get all out of sorts, I need to find something to calm me down. And the thing I'm used to calming me down is, see, my solution used to be taking the plug out the jug. My sponsor today says that, there's more to drinking than bending my elbow. So there's more to sobriety than just not drinking. So I need to do more. There's more to life, right? And there's more to life than just not drinking. I don't keep showing up in Alcoholics Anonymous because I'm worried about a drink. I'm not one of those, I don't have any threat. I'm the threat to my sobriety, right? There's nothing else that threatens my sobriety more than me. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. I'm the enemy that's into me. I'm the only thing that can cause me to get disturbed. But see, I want to blame Young. I want to blame effort. I want to blame Mike. I want to point the finger at everybody else around. If you stop disturbing me, Maureen, I'll be okay. If you stop getting on my nerve, Andrew, things will be all right. Right? If you don't, right? But the reality is, I don't know about y'all, but my sponsor is crazy, right? My sponsor be saying stupid stuff. I hope he's not on this meeting, but my sponsor and I need to say this quietly because I think dude be hearing me, but my sponsor be saying stupid stuff. He be saying stuff like, cause I need to go to him and explain to him, in every situation why I'm right. I always say to myself, I'm not arguing. I'm just trying to explain to you why I'm right. And I need David to understand that he needs to be convinced on why I'm right in these situations. And every time I go to David and I try and convince him how I'm right in these situations, cause I don't know about you guys, but I have these talks in my head before I pick up the phone and call my sponsor. I like to lie to me first, right? See, I like to tell me the story first. So how I can convince him and tell him the story, and I need to lay it out to him. And every time I call him and I say stuff to him and he says, well, I said, well, I'm so disturbed, David. He said, well, I would ask myself, why am I disturbable? Wait a minute. I didn't call you for that, right? Then I said, but if you only understand, look, can you tell Merle and Carol that, right? Look, Chrissy just celebrated her days and her years, and can you tell her to stop getting on my nerves, right? And he said, well, I don't sponsor Chrissy. I sponsor Lavelle. I don't curse at my sponsor. My sponsor doesn't use curse words or profanity. My sponsor just celebrated 55 years of sobriety. He's 84 years old. He's like the calmest person I've ever had an opportunity to run in contact with and have a relationship with him. So most of the time when I'm talking to him, like, I be wanting to say your mama. I just be going, like, how dare you say these things to me? How dare you hurt my feelings like this? Like, I'm coming to you so you can tell me I'm right. Right? Because I need somebody on my side. See, I need somebody on my side. But my sponsor is always on the side of truth. And he always tells me that. He said, I'm on the side of truth. And then I used to walk around always saying, well, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. And my sponsor said, the truth doesn't hurt a truth seeker. Wow. Am I seeking the truth in every questionable situation? Am I seeking the truth in my life? Am I seeking the truth so that I can change, so that I can be a better version of me? Am I seeking the truth? Or am I looking for excuses? Right? Am I looking for somebody to be on my side? Regardless of worldly success or failure, regardless of pain or joy, regardless of sickness or health, or even the death itself, a new life of endless possibilities can be lived if we are willing to continue our awakening. I don't just have one awakening. Every day, my big book of Alcoholics Anonymous says, on awakening, let us look at the 24 hours ahead. On awakening. The moment I open my eyes, I thank God. The moment I open my eyes, don't say on getting up, going to the bathroom, on getting up, getting on TikTok, on getting up, getting on Facebook, on getting up, talk, right? It says on awakening. Yeah. And I most of the times I take these directions literal because I need to. I need directions in my life. I don't need suggestions. I need directions. I need you to give me advice and directions. I need you to tell me where to go because I'm a crash tester. I don't get it the first 1,118 million, 60 trillion, 14 billion times, right? See, I need to be told over and over and over and over again. That's why I keep showing up in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's why I'm here. And I've been given a new life. And the life that I have been given has been a result of this universe conspiring on my behalf without my permission to save my life. And the one thing my sponsor told me, he said, the only thing I can't give you is willingness. He said, Lavelle, I can give you everything else, but I can't give you willingness. And that's what I tell the people I sponsor. I can't make you become willing. I can give you what I have. I can tell you about what I've experienced. And I can tell you how to get on the other side of emotion. But I can't give you willingness. Oh, today is Sunday. And there's a lot of people that are going to be practicing. You know, some of you guys over in the UK, it's already afternoon. You guys have already did your churches, mosques, temples. And here in the United States, 11 o'clock in the United States is the most segregated time in history. And because people are going to their different forms of faith, you know, some people are going to AA meetings, some people are going to Al-Anon meetings, some people are going to church, temple, mosque, right? And I want to read this thing to you guys really quick. It's called A Member's Eye View. And it's AA approved literature. It's a pamphlet called A Member's Eye View. You guys can research it really quick. I've got the last 3 minutes in, and this says this. It says, this coming Sunday in the churches of many of us, there will be read the portion of the Gospel of Matthew which recounts the time when John the Baptist was languishing in the prisons of Herod. And hearing the works of his cousin Jesus, he sent 2 of his disciples to say to him, art thou he who is to come, or shall I look for another? And Christ did as he often did. He did not answer them directly, but wanted him to decide for himself. And so he said to the disciples, go and report to John what you have heard and what you have seen. The blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead rise, the poor have the gospel preached to them. Back in my childhood catechism days, I was taught that the poor in this instance did not only mean the poor in material sense, but it also meant the poor in spirit. I'm the poor in spirit. Those who burn with the inner hunger and inner thirst, and that the word gospel meant quite literally the good news. And in this pamphlet, it says this, more than 16 years ago, and I'd like to say more than 24 years ago, It says, 4 men, my boss, my physician, my pastor, and the one friend I had left working singularly together, maneuvered me into AA. Right now, on this very morning, Sunday, on this afternoon where you guys might be, on the evening, Sunday, wherever you guys are. It says, tell us, what did you find? I would tell you what I now say. I can, from what I experienced, I can tell you what I've heard and what I've seen. It seems the blind do see, the lame do walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead rise. And over again, in the middle of the longest day and the darkest night, the poor in spirit have the good news told to them. Some days are long for me. Some days are darker than night. But because of sisters and brothers like you, because of Alcoholics Anonymous, I have the good news told to me. Thank you for telling me the good news. My name is Lavelle Deshaun Johnson. See, I'm an alcoholic. I'll keep coming back.